Welcome to Moving Diaries episode 1, where we prepare to pack up my family of 5 and 2 dogs and search for a new house in a new state on a quick timeline after getting our dream orders from the Navy. We're going to be decluttering, organizing, packing, house hunting, selling our first home, buying our dream home, a 3-month journey condensed down to 15 minutes with a lot of tips and tricks and testimony on how God showed up for us with this move. So welcome to episode 1. I actually started gathering footage for these vlogs in February, but we found out we were moving in December. We got verbal orders to move from our home from Norfolk, Virginia down to Charleston, South Carolina. But before we go any further, I just need to tell you guys how crazy awesome God was and what he did for us with this move. So in early December, we got a big list of places that we could potentially request orders for. And Charleston was on that list, but the detailer said that he had filled that Charleston billet, so it wasn't supposed to be on there. However, Daniel and I were looking at the list and we really didn't want to move to any other place on the list. So we were like, well, Charleston was on there. Maybe it's on there for a reason. We both want that. Let's just put that on the list and say we don't want a backup option. We would just wait for the next cycle of places to pop up and choose one of those. Hopefully one of those are better, but let's just try for Charleston. And we were praying to the Lord because we were like, that's a place we actually want to live. Like we would actually choose to live there on our own merit if we weren't in the military. So the fact that we have the chance to be here, let's just go for it. Pray for it and see what happens. So the month goes by, and at the very end of December, the detailer is like, hey, that person who was supposed to fill that, they actually can't go there anymore. So I'm going to give it to you. And we're like, that's just a God thing right there. Just feels so satisfying whenever your desires line up with God's and things just work out so seamlessly. Now, those orders were set for us to move in June, but he's supposed to deploy in April. So that means he would either get 2 months of deployment and they would fly him off to move in June and I would have to move by myself, or they could potentially extend him to finish the entire deployment with the ship, which means he would have been gone for 6 or 8 or 10 or who knows how many months in the Middle East. And I would have to do everything by myself. So he started asking around and seeing if he could potentially get off of his sea duty early, which if you guys are in the military, you know that's not possible. You will never be let off of sea duty early. But we were like, Lord, we don't want Daniel to be gone. Lord, you've already made a way for us to get to Charleston. Make us another way to get there earlier. And at first, everybody said no. But slowly but surely, Daniel started seeing favor with his leadership, trying to help him, trying to make a way to make the impossible possible. It was nothing but God. There were so many pieces that needed to come together in order to make this work. So many signatures, so many approvals. It's just insane. And within the month, he had that. So that meant we got what we prayed for, but we also got our timeline moved up by a lot. And Daniel was out at sea basically all of January, February, March, on and off. So that means I needed to get moving. February rolled around and I was like, okay, we got to sell this house and we got to get a new one. So every move I start with decluttering. I really like to do this because I don't ever want to waste my fresh start at a clean slate in a new house. I don't want to be bringing things that I'm not using. The kids' toys took me the longest. They had so much baby stuff that we didn't need anymore because we're not having any more kids. So I ended up donating like 15 trash bags and a bunch of pack and plays and infant car seats, tons of stuff, clothes that didn't fit anymore, things that were broken or expired. I got rid of it, threw it away, donated what was good. I got rid of a ton of books. I kind of made a video on this and showed you guys some of the books that I unhauled. I ended up unhauling a lot more, but basically anything that isn't serving me, anything that isn't saving me time or giving me joy goes away. And as I was decluttering, I simultaneously was organizing what I was keeping into the box that I was going to pack it in for moving. So we're doing like 2 things at once. If you guys don't move a lot, I would recommend getting boxes and tape because it's just cheaper that way. But if you guys are going to be moving a lot, I would actually recommend investing in totes. Number 1, you can use them as storage. Number 2, you're going to reuse them whenever you move again. Number 3, it's also less waste. But anyways, next packing tip. For your clothes, you don't want to take them off the hangers. You want to either get extra large boxes or use trash bags and leave your clothes on the hangers and put it around your clothes and then tie the trash bag together at the hanger. Next tip, you're going to want to get cling wrap for your furniture and also Scotch Guard to spray your furniture with so that if it gets dirty, it's just easier to clean. And also whenever you're packing, don't waste your money on getting tons of bubble wrap. Use what you already have first before you go out and buy all of that supplies. Use blankets, pillows, towels, all of that as packing before you bubble wrap everything so that you can save some money and you don't have to waste as much. So I had the realtor come in February, take pictures and list our house. And by the end of the week, we already had an accepted offer. That meant we had approximately 3 weeks to buy a new house and get moved out. So we went house hunting in Charleston until we found our dream home.
I don't know about these. They're kind of mushy. I give these like a 6.5. Cookie dough is a solid 9.5 out of 10. Oh, I didn't get spoons for the pie cups. All right, let's try the coconut cup. Okay, the coconut was good, but it was a little sweet. I'll say like a 6.75. Now let's try the key lime.
I bet it's gonna taste good.
Yeah, that's better. I'll say like a 7.5. All right, now let's try the sausage cheese pretzel cup. If you guys didn't know, we're originally from Wisconsin, so we know our meat and cheese very well. So I'm gonna be a bit picky with this one. Here's a pretzel. These are really shiny pretzels. All right, let's try the pepper jack first. That's really good cheese. The cheddar, like a 7 out of 10. It's not really salty enough, and it's a little hard, but it's a solid 7. It's not bad. This is one of my favorite road trip snacks, is meat and cheese with crackers or pretzels. I just have to try the sugar cookie. Really salted caramel. It would be good with pretzels in it, because it's like, I don't know, so salty. The sunset is so bright behind me. Oh my gosh. Did you try any of these flavors, or just the ghost pepper?
The ghost pepper and the turkey.
And the turkey?
The turkey jerky was really good.
I was gonna say I like turkey jerky, but I got put onto turkey jerky whenever I was on my AIP diet, and I got that salmon jerky and the turkey jerky from Whole Foods.
I think I got them from the Fresh Market, where we got that fancy.
Oh yeah, it was Fresh Market. Wow, we got 2 sticks.
$4 a piece, huh?
2 sticks. Yeah. The beef is really good. Okay, now the flavor's coming.
Spice.
Yeah, the flavor's coming at the end.
It's really good jerky.
Usually beef jerky has like a lot of peppery taste, and this one doesn't have any pepper.
Whoa.
Like spices on it.
It's usually got a lot of salt too. This doesn't taste as salty.
This feels like LaCroix beef jerky.
LaCroix beef jerky?
Yeah, where it's like subtly flavored.
It tastes like Angus, like steak. Like it's like
the beef is really good. But $8 for 2 pieces. $8 for 2 pieces. Beaver nugget. Quick, taste the beaver nugget. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So a 10 out of 10 for the caramel and a 11 out of 10 for the cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say 8.5 out of 10 for the caramel and 8 out of 10 for the cinnamon.
Spoiler alert, we didn't find it while Daniel was here. He actually left on his biggest underway that he had. I don't know, 6 weeks, maybe longer than that. I honestly don't even remember. Time was a blur. I ended up driving by myself with the girls. That's where we found our dream home, but we're not at that part yet, so let's go back. We drove down there together and we checked out local stores, local neighborhoods, just to get familiar with the areas that we wanted to be in and the areas that we didn't want to be in, so that we were prepared for house hunting. And it was a 6-hour road trip each way, but honestly, it was a beautiful and easy drive, so that didn't bother us at all. And we loved having the luxury of being able to go down and look at the houses in the neighborhoods in person, because usually in the military you have to FaceTime a realtor and just pray you get in a good house in a good neighborhood. So we took a lot of advantage of the fact that we weren't making a big move. It was only a 6-hour move. So we went a bunch of weekends. We were very patient with the Lord, and we waited, even though it was stressful since we were on a time crunch, we waited for confirmation from him to say, hey, this is the house I want you at. And unfortunately, Daniel was not able to see the house that we bought until he got back from his underway. But the Lord provided, and it was perfect timing. But let me show you guys some of the houses we looked at, because house hunting is fun. So out of all of these houses, we didn't end up going with any of these for one reason or another. The main reason being the Lord didn't give us confirmation, tell us that this is where we needed to be. So we were waiting on that. We were waiting on him, but either these houses were in an area we didn't want to be in, they were too small, or we didn't like the HOA fees, or whatever it was. Mainly, we loved all of these houses. We would have been totally happy with any of these houses, but it's just we were waiting on that confirmation from the Lord, so we couldn't go with any of these. And now let me just say, the property taxes and the prices of houses in South Carolina versus Virginia ain't even close. Like, we could never afford the house that we got if it was in Virginia. But since it's here and the property taxes are lower and the house prices are lower, we were able to really level up our living conditions, which is a huge blessing. Now, obviously, we weren't looking at downtown Charleston or at any of the islands because we could not afford to live there, since we are basically single income enlisted military. So definitely couldn't live there, but we were just really excited to have a chance at owning our dream home without having to compromise like we did with our other house. We could buy a newer house and not have to deal with old house stuff and half-butted DIYs and in a state we didn't actually like living in. We actually had a chance to live somewhere we wanted to in a house that is like our dream home. Like, we thought, oh, maybe we could have this house once we're retired. No, we're like living in such an amazing house. We've actually already moved. I'm doing this voiceover after we've moved, obviously. But this process of looking at these houses was just surreal. It's like, God, we can afford this. God, we're gonna live here. Like, It was truly just a dream. These houses were a dream, but we didn't end up putting an offer in on any of these houses. And then Daniel had to leave, like I said. So I packed up the kids, dropped off the dogs at doggy daycare, and I drove us down to South Carolina for one last weekend. And we had to find a house this weekend because our closing date was in 3 weeks. Because yes, we put our house on the market and it got an accepted offer that very weekend. So we were on a timeline. And the moment I saw the house that we decided to go with, I knew that this was the house that we were going to be at. And that made me a little nervous because the Lord gave me that confirmation right as we were pulling in the driveway and I didn't even see the house yet. So I was really nervous. I was like, Lord, like, what if I don't like this house as much as another house, but like you want me to be here? But the moment we walked in and we were going through the layout of the house, it was literally perfect. And it was my favorite out of the bunch, mainly because of the layout. But another God thing with the house that we bought, this was one of the only houses that we looked at that was vacant. So we didn't have to work with the seller's timeline. They were very motivated to sell it. Nobody was in it. And so we could pick our close date. So we were actually able to pick a close date that was the day after we closed on the sale of our house. So we didn't have to live in hotels for a while. We didn't have to have any buffer time. It was, okay, we closed on the sale. We're sleeping in our house and then we're moving to South Carolina the next day. It worked out insanely perfect. I continued packing while Daniel was underway. I signed probably 200 documents and read through countless contracts, paid closing costs and inspections and fees, like I said, all by myself while packing up everything. So right when Daniel got back, we had so much going on. It was such a busy time because we celebrated Evangeline's 3rd birthday. We celebrated Elitz's 6th birthday. We caught up with final appointments. I needed to get a sleep study test and we had dentist appointments and just all of the stuff we were just catching up on. We said goodbye to our friends and we said goodbye to our church. And then Daniel and one of our friends loaded up the U-Haul all in a day. The girls, Daniel and I slept on a single mattress and we loaded that up at 4:30 in the morning to make it to our noon closing in South Carolina. Surprisingly, saying goodbye to this house made us so emotional because this was the first house we ever bought. It is the house that we went from lukewarm to on fire for the Lord. We learned to stand firm in our convictions. We overcame struggles in our marriage. We went through so many trials and shared so many memories of our girls growing up, our baby not being a baby anymore, seeing where we were and where we were content with, but now seeing our new house and how much bigger and how much newer and how much more beautiful it is, how much He's blessed us is just really overwhelming. We were overwhelmed with emotions and just thankfulness to the Lord for all that He's done with us. Since I learned how to be content and steward little, He will bless and provide, knowing that I will be able to steward the much that He so eagerly wants to give us. So even though I was really excited to leave this house, I was also really sad and I was so surprised at how emotional I was because I learned to love it. I learned to love all of the weird cracks in the ceiling and the creaky floors and all of the chips in the paint, the draftiness, just like, I don't know, I learned to love it. And so I was really sad to leave it. I was sad to say goodbye to our friends and our church home, but I'm so excited for this new chapter that the Lord has prepared us. A season of rest and abundance after a season of trials and growth. And I'm just so thankful to Jesus that He provided perfectly for us. And I cannot wait to show you guys our new house in the next episode. I know this was a bit chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed anyways. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I pray you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!